Hello, I'm Steve McCoy, the Executive Director of the Seaplane Pilots Association. In this short video, we'd like to take a look at the compatibility between boats and seaplanes.
Kenmore Air Harbor and Seattle Seaplanes are the two operators on Lake Union, and together we account for over 33,000 operations on the lake annually, an operation being defined as a single takeoff or landing. And in that congested lake, with all that boat traffic, there's never been any kind of issue, any kind of problem with any boat in all the years we've been operating down there.
So an important consideration when we're talking about the compatibility of boats and seaplanes is the fact that in most states, boaters aren't required to have licenses. In contrast, seaplane pilots usually hold more than one pilot license, each of which takes a considerable amount of training, investment of time and energy, and they must be certified by the Federal Aviation Administration to operate these aircraft. All of this adds up to making them a highly responsible, safe, and conscientious user group.
No, I haven't. I actually was watching them when I was coming out of the harbor, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Those guys, I mean, they do a real good job. I felt really safe around them.
But they're always trying to do the right thing, and they're watching out for you more than anybody else is on this lake. The seaplane pilots will watch you better than anybody because there's so many of them. They ask about the seaplanes and if there's ever been any incidents, and I tell them no, I've never heard of any incident in all these years. The seaplane pilots know exactly what they need to do, where they need to go.
In my experience, it's actually worked out really well. The pilots that are flying out of here for Kenmore Air and a couple other airlines or float planes here, and we have private pilots that live on the lake as well, do a really good job of being able to land and take off around the activity that happens on the lake. We've even been in some of the Coast Guard auxiliary classes talking about local laws, rules, and ordinances surrounding boating in the area as well. So it's a great organization.
The interaction between boats and seaplanes is an issue of concern, particularly in heavily traveled areas like Lake Union. And we want to make sure that our boaters understand that as the stand-on vessels, they should maintain course and speed, and the aircraft will adjust to whatever their course and speed is.
When you're in the air, you can follow their wakes, you can see which direction they're moving, you can pick up on what their speed is, what their course is, and you always assume that nobody sees you coming. You make very little noise when you're landing, and so people don't hear you coming, and they don't have any reason to be looking up. There's not a lot of seaplane traffic on this lake. Some days we might get 6 landings. You might go a week without having a single landing. So people don't have a tendency to be looking for airplanes when they're boating, and since they can't hear you over their own engine, they don't have any reason to be looking for you. So you always assume that they're not aware you're coming, and you have to be the one ready to take proactive measures.
New boaters really don't understand the action or the flight patterns of the planes. The pilots do a great job picking a landing zone as long as the vessel maintains its course and speed, and even to some degree if it's drifting and it doesn't change its action at the last minute. The pilots do a really good job of navigating around them.
Seaplane pilots get a wonderful perspective of the water surface from the air. We can read the boating activity and the surface conditions. If we don't like what we see, we can always do a go-around or wait for the conditions to improve.
So if you get down there and there's a paddleboard or a kayaker that you didn't see, then you just make the decision to go around and try again, pick a better line next time.
If you're coming in to land at Lake Union, you get a good assessment of what's on the lake, and generally you're picking a path where you don't set up a converging course with anybody. You always make sure that whatever path you pick for your landing, that vessel, that boat, is moving away from you and you're moving away from it as you go through your landing run. You never do it the other way around where that gap is closing. And that's one of the first rules to maintain safety on the lake.
Seaplanes and boats have coexisted on places like Lake Union for decades and decades, and it works. And as long as it continues working the same way it has forever, I think we're good to go.
So hopefully we've shed some light on seaplane and boating compatibility issues. If you have any further questions, please contact us at the Seaplane Pilots Association.